Yesterday, Bitcoin saw a very volatile day. We pumped to the $90,000, then came back to the $85,000, pumped back to the $90,000, and now we're seeing a little bit of a retracement back to the $87,000. In my video of yesterday, I was warning you about this potential move for Bitcoin, and now you should be looking for entries because this could be the very big dip before the next bull run starts. So in this video I'm going to tell you exactly what we can expect for Bitcoin in the coming days. There's also a lot of interesting news coming in. The Bitcoin ETFs and the Ethereum ETFs are showing a lot of interesting data, which I will discuss with you in this video, of course. I will also have a look at the two altcoins, XRP and DogWifHat, because they're also showing a lot of interesting price action. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end to be updated about the markets. Don't forget to slap up that like button because it will help the channel a lot. And let's dive right into the charts. On the 1 hour chart, we can see that Bitcoin made this beautiful run up to the $90,000, and now we are seeing that Bitcoin is in this huge range, and we can see multiple touch points on the top side as resistance already, and on the lower side we can see that support is coming into the market. So Bitcoin is now ranging inside of this huge formation, and it looks a little bit like a bull flag formation, so we could potentially see a continuation of this price action and that we're going to see more exponential moves to the top side. So in this range you can look for entries around this huge support area, but we could also see a little bit of a throwback again to test lower levels. So this is also not something to panic about, because this will just be very healthy price action after this huge run up. But however, we are still in this range, so we are also seeing a little bit of a bounce already. So let's see if we can come back to this huge topside resistance and maybe even force a break to the top side, and that will cause a new exponential move for Bitcoin in this coming week. So this could be the very first move for Bitcoin to make, but of course there's also a bear scenario possible, and that we have to aim for lower levels. And keep in mind that there is also a huge CME gap open still for Bitcoin around the $76,532, and this is the gap that was opened last weekend. We saw a huge pump, of course, to the $90,000, but however, we're not closing the gap anytime soon, because this is a level of more than $10,000 below us. But of course, this could also be a level that doesn't get closed, and in the history of Bitcoin, there are just 3 open CME gaps now. There are somewhere around the $7,000, $11,000, and now we are opening the CME gap at the $76,532. So this could be that other gap that we will never close in the history of Bitcoin, and that we will just continue the uptrend to the top side, and maybe we'll even close it, but that will be maybe in some months or maybe some years. So let's see what we can see for Bitcoin in the coming days. Are we just continuing the uptrend, or are we going to close the gap, and that will be a huge retracement back to this level? And yesterday the Bitcoin ETF saw a very interesting day again. In the first hour we saw a huge volume of more than $1.5 billion in the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF. So this is insane, of course. And if we have a look at the total inflows, we saw a total inflow of $817.5 million, and especially BlackRock is buying like crazy. They bought for $778 million, so this is insane, of course. And we are seeing the spike to the top side is exponential, and this spot Bitcoin cumulative inflow is coming closer to the $30 billion mark. So this is causing a very interesting price effect on the price of Bitcoin. So let's see what we can see for the rest of the week. Are we going to see more interesting inflows, or are we going to see a little bit of a retracement, because they also need to cover their risks, of course. So let's see if the week can end strong for the Bitcoin ETFs. And if we then have a look at the Ethereum ETFs, we saw another good day, especially because BlackRock is buying again, and they bought for more than $131, and in total we saw an inflow of $136 million. So this is insane, and this is also causing a very bullish price effect for the price of Ethereum. And if we then zoom out on the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is in this huge uptrend, and we are seeing this parabolic move to the top side. And we see that every time Bitcoin touches this huge parabolic uptrend, so it could be very interesting to see a little bit of a retracement to test this parabolic uptrend again before we see that next move to the top side for Bitcoin. And if we're going to see a little bit of retracement and come back to this huge support area, then you could be entering the market in a long, because this is a very interesting level. And as with them, we saw a big bounce from this level. So this could be a very interesting point to set your orders, and it could of course be at the $82,000, could be at the $81,000. But however, correction always happen, and also in a bull market. So you want to be ready when we're seeing this retracement and that your orders are getting hit. And zooming out to the daily time frame, we can see that in hindsight it was very clear, and I was telling you about this huge resistance area, and on the daily time frame. And I've been talking about this huge resistance area for the last months now in my socials. And when we broke this huge resistance area, we saw a retest of the previous resistance to turn it into support. And from there we saw exponential move to the top side. So from this level, you could have made a very interesting gain. And from this bullish retest, we entered the market in a long, and we made more than a 30% increase. So that's a beautiful trade to make. So congratulations if you took this trade together with me. And a lot of people from my community are having this trade, and we're now in huge profits. So this could have been a very interesting trade to make together. And yeah, this is especially how I like it, because this was the trade that brought us to the $90,000. And looking at the market cycle, there is a little bit of a market cycle structure you want to be looking at. And I think we are still here before the media attention, because there's not a lot of media attention already for Bitcoin. And we are seeing this huge spike to the top side. We saw consolidation, a huge bear trap, and now we are seeing this spike to the top side again. And I think we are now before the media attention. And if the media attention is picking up steam, then we could potentially see a little bit of a more of a big exponential move. Then we will see enthusiasm, greed, and after all, delusion and a new paradigm. And you want to sell in this huge uptrend, because you never know when the top is reached. And you don't want to be holding too long, that we're going to see fear and capitulation again. So keep in mind that I think that we're still before the media attention here, and that the big bull run is still about to come. So be cautious that you don't sell too early, but you don't also want to sell too late. So just place your orders, pick your strategy, and just be ready when this new bull run unfolds. And looking at this Bitcoin daily chart with this huge uptrend for Bitcoin, we can see we created an exponential high. We saw this higher low and higher high structure, and now we are creating this huge higher high. So I think we will just create this higher high. And after this higher high, we will also just create a higher low, because that is just how the market behaves. And nobody knows how far this higher low will be, because this will just be a higher low play. And from this higher low, you want to enter the market again, because in an uptrend, you want to buy every dip for Bitcoin. So this could potentially be around the $79,000, but we could potentially also go lower, like for instance, about to the $71,000. And it will still be a higher low, because we are just in an uptrend, and every higher low from here is a very bullish higher low. But of course, the CME gap, as I was saying earlier in the video, was around the $76,000. So that will be around here. So this could be a very interesting higher low for Bitcoin. And I will place my orders here at this level, because I think this will be a very interesting higher low. And then you could be entering the market, and then we could aim for higher targets. And if we then zoom out to the weekly time frame, we can see this Bitcoin bull flag was unfolding, and it was all very clear in hindsight. So we saw this huge uptrend, we saw this consolidation for almost 8 months, and then we saw a breakout, a retest of the previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there we saw an exponential move to the top side. And this is exactly what we wanted to see for Bitcoin. So this bull flag formation has a breakout target of $110,000. So there's still a long road for Bitcoin to make, and this breakout target will be around here. So keep in mind that the bull run is now starting. That of course we could see a little bit of a retracement in every levels, but eventually on the weekly time frame, I think we will just see this level of $110,000 before the end of the year. And let me know in the comments what your end of year prediction is for Bitcoin. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is XRP. We can see that XRP was in this huge consolidation formation. We saw this huge horizontal resistance on the top side, and on the lower side we saw this huge support trend line coming into the market. We fell below this level, but then we pumped into this level, so we saw a big fake out for XRP. Now we are seeing this huge spike to the top side, and we are gaining this previous resistance level, and we are already retesting this as support, and we are seeing a little bit of a bounce already. So this is a very bullish move for XRP, and after this bullish move, the retracement is now very interesting, and we can see a little bit of a retracement back to test it as support, and from there we could have entered the market in the long, and we can now aim for higher targets. And if we then zoom out to the weekly time frame, we can see that XRP is now in this consolidation for 154 weeks, and we are seeing huge trendline resistance coming into play, and also on the lower side we see a lot of support. And now it looks like that XRP is trying to break out of this huge weekly consolidation, but of course the week is not over, and we are also seeing a huge wick on the top side already. So we could also potentially close the candle inside of this formation, and then we will have to aim for lower levels again. But of course, if we're going to close the weekly candle outside of this formation, then we can confirm the breakout. Then we can wait for a retest of the previous resistance to turn it into support. And from here we can enter the market in the long and aim for high targets. And then the breakout target will be the top side of the formation, and that will be around the 96 cents for XRP. So let's see what this rest of the week will bring us and if we can break out of this huge consolidation formation. The next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is DogWifHat. We can see that the WIF was in this huge horizontal range on the daily time frame. We broke below it sometime, but then we saw this huge bullish move to the top side. We retested previous resistance as support, and after that we ranged again inside of this horizontal range. Then we saw a bullish move to the top side. Now we are seeing a retest of the resistance to turn it into support, and this could be the very first bullish move to see this huge trend reversal for DogWifHat. And now we can aim for higher targets again. And of course we now gained this previous resistance, so we can turn it into green because it's now acting as support. And the first big resistance will be around this level again, and this will be around the $3.6. So this could be the very first move for DogWifHat to make. And if we're going to see more topside, then we will come back to this level, and maybe we see a little bit of a rejection coming into the market, because in the past we see a lot of resistance here coming into the market. So this could be your very first take profit place for DogWifHat after this huge bullish retest. And let me know in the comments if you still hold DogWifHat in your portfolio and what your thoughts about the future are. So please give a like if you think this video was useful. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.